Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and continuing the Superman and Batman movie reviews, finishing off the Christopher Nolan trilogy with my review of The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure that after everything that I've said about this movie before, saying it's overrated, saying it's the worst of the trilogy, that shoot that I made on the fanboys a few years ago, saying I want Nostalgia Critic to review this movie. Yeah, after everything that I've said about this movie, that probably gives you guys the impression that I don't like this movie. Well, no, I really do like this movie, yeah. I do think that this is a really good movie. And it just so happens that this one is the most flawed of the Christopher Nolan trilogy. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean it's bad, just, yeah, this one is like, yeah, this is just the one with the most problems of the three in the trilogy. Yeah, but yeah, it's still a really good movie. I just don't like hearing people like say it's the greatest Batman movie ever, it's a legendary movie, it was the best movie of 2012. Yeah, I really don't like hearing people really praise this movie as being one of the greatest, because yeah, it's not. But yeah, like I said, it is still a really good movie. Yeah. Yeah, now I've heard some people say that some people like this movie, and I've heard others say that they don't like it. And yeah, I could see both ways because, like, the flaws that I said. Yeah, but yeah, I do think that the good stuff in this movie definitely is really good, and yeah, it does outdo the problems of the movie. Yeah, yeah. All right, but yeah, yeah. Let me just say some of the negatives first about it. Yeah, first off, I mean, it's way too long. I mean, yeah, this movie is almost 3 hours long, and it really didn't need to be that long. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of stuff in this movie, it really just seems like filler. Like they're just trying to stretch a lot of this out. And just trying to make it as long as they possibly can, yeah. And I really feel like a lot of the stuff in this movie, like, it could have been cut. Yeah, because, I mean, it's just a bunch of stuff that really is just so outdone, and it's just like they... Yeah, I mean, it just feels like there was a lot of stuff in this movie that really they could have removed from it. Yeah. And like I said before, I don't like Bane in this movie. Yeah, I mean, this Bane is definitely a lot better than Batman and Robin's Bane, but yeah, I'm just still really not a fan of Bane in this. I mean, just really don't think he's that interesting. I mean, I like the Joker and the Scarecrow a lot more than Bane. Yeah, yeah, I mean, Scarecrow, like I said, he was actually really like creative and clever with what he did. Bane just comes off as just like some guy that is trying to destroy the city, and there's nothing really about him that just really makes him interesting. I mean, it's not like the Joker where like he was like a really interesting character with all this stuff, and it was a great performance. Now with Bane, I mean, the performance just seems kind of like average. I mean, yeah, and I'm really not a fan of the way Bane looks in this movie either. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people really seem to like Bane from this movie, but I personally really don't. Yeah, and yeah, it seems like a lot of the recurring characters in this movie, they're they're like their appearance in this movie seems to be like really reduced down. Like Alfred's appearance in this movie, it's like really limited. And yeah, there's not like as much Batman in this movie as there was in the first two films. Yeah, yeah, and plus yeah, and Morgan Freeman or Lucius Fox, his appearance is really cut down in this. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of the recurring characters there's in this movie, just their appearances have been really like cut down in here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get a lot more appearances from like the newer characters in the movie. I mean, yeah, of course there's Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, there's Bane, there's Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this movie. Yeah, I mean, yeah, really seems like the new characters get much more screen time than the recurring characters in this, yeah. And yeah, I mean, this movie just seems like it's a lot more about Bane than it is about Batman. And yeah, I mean, just yeah, it seems like we're just going into like a whole new movie series with like all the new characters, and yeah, they have like more screen time in this movie. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, yeah, but yeah, for what we do get from like the recurring characters, and yeah, even like from the new characters, it's not like the new a lot of the new characters are bad. I mean, they are like really interesting. I mean, like Anne Hathaway is really good as Catwoman. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's pretty good in the movie. Yeah, I mean the new characters in this are still really good. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, with all the stuff we do have from the original characters, and yeah, with like all the action scenes in the movie. I mean, yeah, the movie is still really, really, really good. And yeah, I would still give this movie 3.5 stars out of 4. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, mean, yeah, I do think it's a good movie, just not really as good as some people say it is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I had, I would probably like say this is probably the third quote unquote worst Batman movie, but that's not to say it's bad. Yeah, I mean, I would place it above Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, ever definitely. Yeah, but yeah, I would definitely say it is, of course, first like not on par with the Dark Knight or the first Tim Burton movie. Yeah, I would still place like Batman Returns and Batman Begins over it also. But yeah, this is still a really, really, really good movie. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, let me just get right into it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm probably not gonna really talk about like everything that happens in this movie because yeah, like I said, it's a lot of filler. I'm probably just gonna like like cut to the chases on like some of the main things in this movie. All right, all right. So the movie is set like 8 years after the events of what happened at the end of Dark Knight, and yeah, it opens up kind of like recapping what happened at the end of the Dark Knight, and yeah, it's now been in 8 years since the death of Harvey Dent, and yeah, like Batman has been like, yeah, Batman has disappeared after being framed for the murder of Harvey Dent. And then it shows Bane and some of his goons like taking out a plane and some of its passengers. Yeah, and then yeah, Commissioner Gordon is feeling kind of like his guilt is like really increasing, and for covering up the crimes that Harvey made. And and then yeah, Commissioner Gordon wrote a resignation speech to confess the truth about what really happened, but he chose not to use that. And yeah, it then showed Selina Kyle, who was played by Catwoman. I mean, who played by Catwoman, aka Catwoman, who was played by Anne Hathaway. Yeah, and I should also say, like, I kind of do like the connection between, like, Batman and Catwoman in this movie. Yeah, like I said, I do. Yeah, even though I do like Michelle Pfeiffer better as Catwoman, yeah, I mean, Anne Hathaway, she's still really good in this movie. Yeah, and this is like one of like the very few selected like good movies that Anne Hathaway picked. I don't know. I mean, Anne Hathaway, she's not really a bad actress. I mean, she just doesn't really pick very good movies. Movies for her career. I mean, there's like the Princess Diaries movies and like Get Smart and some Ella Enchanted and like a lot of other movies she's been in. I mean, they don't do they're not very good movies. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, Anne Hathaway. I mean, she's still a pretty good actress, and yeah, it's good to see that this is like one of the good movies that she was actually in. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, like I said, I do like kind of like the connection between them. I like how at first they don't really like they are kind of opposed to each other, but then like as the movie progresses, they do like start to have like a big connection with each other, which is like kind of which is like more how Catwoman was originally wrote. Like she wasn't originally written as like a psycho like she was in Batman Returns. Yeah, she was actually like written more like this, where she was not really like she's not really evil. She's kind of wanting to be a crime fighter like Batman, but she just doesn't see eye to eye with him. But then they like over time they do kind of like form a connection with each other, and yeah, that's what happens here. Yeah, and yeah, you don't actually really ever see Selina Kyle with any cats in this movie. Yeah, I mean, it's implied that she is a cat burglar, but yeah, we never actually see her like really obsessing over cats like she does in Batman Returns. So yeah, it is kind of interesting how they kind of had a different turn with Catwoman in this movie than they did in Batman Returns. Yeah, and then anyway, yeah. Now Bruce Wayne in this movie, he's retired as Batman, and he's kind of like become really recluse, yeah. And it's like he has a bad leg now. Oh yeah, and yeah, he's just really let himself go after he took the blame for Harvey's crimes. And then yeah, Selina Kyle was like rummaging through Bruce's bedroom, and yeah, she is able to get some of his fingerprints from his home, yeah, and yeah, she like trips down Bruce and escapes his home with his fingerprints. And yeah, she ended up kidnapping and Byron Gilly, who actually was a Gotham congressman. Yeah, and then she handed fingerprints over to Philip Stryver, who was actually an assistant for Bruce's business rival John Daggett. Yeah. And she asked for her criminal record to be erased since she was a cat burglar. Yeah. Yeah, and eventually, like, Stryver ended up turning on Selina. Yeah, but Selina was able to use Gilly's phone to alert the police and inform them of where they were at. Yeah. Yeah, and then, yeah, Commissioner Gordon and the police, he's arrived at the home and found the congressman. And then, yeah, Selina ended up fleeing, and yeah, the police were after Stryver's men in the sewers. Yeah. Yeah. And then Batman also gave chase to the two men also, and yeah, the police like saw him, and yeah, also saw like the police officer John Blake, who was played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah, and he was involved in this chase also, and yeah, he saw Batman, and yeah, and yeah, and Blake did like believe that there was still like some Batman around. Yeah, and yeah, when it came, yeah, like Batman and then the Stryver's men like went in two different directions, and yeah, and yeah, Blake was like he knew he could only follow one of them, and yeah, he continued to go after Stryver's men. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, it shows later on Bane then capturing Commissioner Gordon, and as he went after Commissioner Gordon, he found his resignation speech. And yeah, but then Blake eventually found Commissioner Gordon, and yeah, and they were able to escape, and then yeah, and then Commissioner Gordon then promoted Blake to a detective position on the police force in Gotham. Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah. And Bane ended up attacking the Gotham Stock Exchange, and then yeah. And he used a transaction in Bruce's account using his fingerprints, and yeah, that ended up bankrupting Bruce. And then yeah, then Alfred ended up telling Bruce about what was going on with Rachel and Harvey after that letter that she gave Alfred in The Dark Knight. And yeah, Alfred revealed to Bruce that Rachel actually had an intention to marry Harvey before she died. Right, yeah. And then yeah, and then it did like show oh Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, like she was like came in like contact with Batman, and yeah, and they end up like speaking to each other and like trying to coexist, but then yeah, then at one point like then she just disappeared, similar to what Batman does, and yeah, then Batman just like said, so that's what it feels like. Yeah. then later on, Alfred ended up just resigning as Bruce's butler, and this was an attempt to actually convince Bruce to just move on from being Batman. Yeah. And then then after this, like Alfred was just gone for almost the rest of the movie. Yeah. Yeah, and then and then after Bruce discontinued the fusion reaction project that he had after he learned about the core would be able to be weaponized. Wayne Enterprises then just became like unable to make a profit. Yeah, 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 and then yeah, Bruce was like concerned about Daggett gaining access to the actor, and then he handed over his company over to one of the board members of Wayne Enterprises, Miranda Tate. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then later on, like, Catwoman was down in, like, a subway tunnel or something. And and Batman wanted her to take him to Bane. And then, she did end up, like, leading him over to Bane, but it was actually, she was luring him into a trap that Bane had. Yeah, for him, yeah. And Batman and Bane got into it, and then Bane ended up revealing to Batman that he had intentions to fulfill Ra's al Ghul's mission to destroy Gotham with the League of Shadows. And Bane eventually ended up like really injuring Batman by really crippling his back. Yeah. Yeah, and then he ended up taking Bruce Wayne to a really foreign prison where your escape would be close to impossible. Yeah, and I've talked about this before. I really don't like the stuff in the prison. I mean, it just seems to go on forever, and it's really pretty boring to me. Yeah, and before being left, he told Bruce about his plan to destroy Gotham, and then he said when Gotham is ashes that Bruce has his permission to die. Yeah, and as Bruce is locked in the prison, the inmates were telling him about the story of Ra's al Ghul's child, and they said that the child was born in the prison and cared for by another prisoner before eventually escaping, and it was the only prisoner to ever or be able to escape, and and then Bruce assumed that Bane was actually the child, and Bruce ended up having some visions about Ra's al Ghul from when he met him in the first movie. And then Bane then like lured the Gotham police underground, and he trapped them in there after like causing a cave-in to the entrance. And then Bane ended up killing Gotham Mayor Anthony Garcia, and then he forced Dr. Pavel, who was like a physicist for Russia, so that he actually kidnapped 6 months earlier. To convert the reactor core into a nuclear bomb, and then it eventually just showed like several explosions over Gotham, and including like one like a huge football field, and the football field like just explode like being destroyed like that was actually pretty cool. Well, I mean it. Remember, like showed that in the trailers and it looked really cool, and it still looked like really cool in the movie also. And then Bane ended up just bombing the city some more and just held it hostage. Again, isolated Gotham from the rest of the world. Well, yeah, and then Bane and found, like, revealed the cover-up of Harvey's crimes. And then, yeah, Bane released prisoners from Blackgate Penitentiary to initiate some anarchy, yeah. And then it just showed, like, some wealthy people, well, like, had their property just destroyed, and yeah, they were taken away from their homes. And yeah, then they, like, were all given some trials presided over Dr. Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow from Batman Begins, yeah. And yeah, they all ended up being sentenced to death, and yeah. And meanwhile, with Bruce in the prison, he was just spent months recovering from his injury and retraining some more, or with help from the other inmates. And yeah, Bruce eventually ended up escaping from the prison, and yeah, then Bruce enlists some help from, like, Selina, Blake, Tate, Commissioner Gordon, and Lucius Fox to stop the bomb's detonation. Yeah, he handed over the Batpod to Selina, aka Catwoman, and yeah, he gave her the task to help people evacuate the city and save herself. And yeah, she asked Batman to come along with her to leave Gotham to its fate, but yeah, he refused to do so, and yeah, he continued to do his stuff, yeah. Yeah. And then yeah, it showed the police and like some more of Bane's forces like battling with each other, yeah. And then yeah, Batman eventually arrived, and yeah, and he and Bane got into another brawl, yeah. And then yeah, Batman ended up overpowering Bane, and yeah. And then yeah, and then he was starting to interrogate Bane about the bomb's trigger. And he was asking where it was and what it is. Yeah. But then eventually Tate intervened and actually stabbed Batman. Then she revealed to Batman that she was actually Ra's al Ghul's daughter, and her name was Talia. And Bane was actually her protector that actually helped her escape from the prison. Yeah. Yeah. And she tried to detonate the bombs, but Commissioner Gordon was able to block the signal from the bombs to prevent any remote detonation. Yeah. And yeah, Talia then went off to find the bomb, and as Bane was about to kill Batman, and Catwoman then arrived in the Batpod and ended up killing Bane. Yeah, and then yeah, Batman and Catwoman then went after Talia. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, they were hoping to bring the bomb back to the reactor, or where it may be able to stabilize. And then yeah, the Talia's truck crashed and but yeah, she was able to destroy the reactor before she died, yeah. And yeah, after that there was just no way to actually stop the detonation. But yeah, Batman and then just hauled the bomb over the bay, and then yeah, it ended up detonating, and yeah, and then Batman and Bruce Wayne were then presumed dead. After that, yeah. And then yeah, and then afterwards, Batman was then honored as a hero, and then yeah, it just showed like Bruce Wayne's supposed will, and it said that Wayne Manor was now an orphanage, and yeah, all of Bruce's estates were left to Alfred, and yeah. Yeah, and then it showed that Bruce had actually fixed the Bat's autopilot. Yeah. And then then it just showed Blake like inheriting the Batcave now. And just showed him searching around the Batcave. And then yeah, and then it ended with like not Alfred. He actually saw Bruce and Selina together. And it turned out that they were both still alive. And yeah, After this, it just showed like Bruce had retired for good from being Batman, and yeah, just showed then Blake like once just standing in the Batcave, and yeah, that's how it ended. So yeah, they were kind of like teasing about this, making it seem like maybe now Blake would be the next like Gotham protector, like he would become Robin, but yeah, but now that's not happening anymore, and yeah, that the series was officially over. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, 3.5 stars out of 4. Yeah, while it is overrated, and yeah, it's not like the greatest movie of all time, it is still a really, really, really good movie. Yeah, and yeah, I kind of wish that this series was still continuing, and yeah, this was also in connection to the Batman Superman movie, and Christian Bale was still around, but yeah, it's over, and yeah, nothing we can do about it, so yeah, whatever. Whatever. Well, yeah, alright. Alright, so yeah, that does for my review of The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and yeah. Now, finish with the Christopher Nolan movies. Next time, we'll finally be finishing off the Superman and Batman movie reviews before the Batman vs Superman movie with a review of Man of Steel. So yeah, stay tuned for the final movie review in this series, returning back to Superman one last time before the new Batman Superman movie. Alright. Alright, so yeah, stay tuned for the Man of Steel review up next. And yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching review of The Dark Knight Rises. Hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.